What if being truly alone was the secret to transforming your life? In today's noisy world, we're constantly surrounded by voices, messages, and endless expectations. Silence has become rare. Solitude? Almost unheard of? But what if solitude wasn't something to fear or avoid? What if it was the key? A gateway to self-discovery, clarity, and real inner strength. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, believed exactly that. He lived by it. His solitary life, devoted to discipline, art, and deep reflection, holds a forgotten truth. Solitude isn't weakness, it's power. Born in 1584, during a time of civil war and chaos in Japan, Musashi's life was shaped by combat from a young age. As a teenager, he was already winning deadly duels. Over time, he defeated more than 60 skilled opponents, earning his place in history as a master swordsman. But Musashi was more than a warrior. He was also an artist, a strategist, and a philosopher, a man in search of something deeper than victory. He turned down titles, riches, and positions of power. Instead, he chose the path of the Ronin, a samurai without a master, so he could live freely, guided only by his own code. Later in life, after years of battles both within and without, Musashi retreated to a cave. There, as he felt death approaching, he wrote his final and most mysterious legacy, the Dokkodō, or the way of walking alone. This list of 21 principles wasn't just about strategy or war. It was the distilled wisdom of a man who found truth in solitude. To Musashi, solitude didn't mean loneliness or sadness. It was a choice, a clear, intentional state of being that allowed him to hear himself beyond the noise of the world. It wasn't about running from society, but about building an inner space so still and strong that nothing could shake it. He understood something few dare to face. The greatest enemy isn't out there, it's inside. It's in our scattered thoughts, our restless emotions, our ego chasing praise. That's why he walked alone. In that silence, free from outside influence, he saw himself with brutal honesty. No distractions, just truth. Solitude became his silent training ground. It sharpened not just his sword, but his spirit. Musashi once wrote, "Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world." Maybe in choosing to be alone, we don't lose ourselves. We finally find who we truly are. A simple but powerful idea. Uche offers us a simple yet powerful idea to let go of vanity, to stop constantly looking inward with pride and start looking outward with humility. When we stop placing ourselves at the center of everything, we open space to understand the world more deeply. And, somewhat ironically, we begin to understand ourselves more clearly too. This is the essence of solitude, according to Miyamoto Musashi. Not as an escape from the world, but as a mirror, clear and undistorted, through which we can finally see who we truly are. In his work, Dokkodō, Musashi left behind 21 guiding principles. They're straightforward, but incredibly deep. Each one is a key that can unlock parts of ourselves we often leave hidden or ignored. Let's explore a few of these timeless lessons, especially those that show how solitude and self-awareness can shape the path we walk. Self-reliance. One of Musashi's first teachings is, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. This reminds us that real happiness doesn't come from external things, like approval, wealth, or fleeting pleasures. Instead, Musashi challenges us to find fulfillment from within. For him, true satisfaction comes through mastery over our actions, our thoughts, and our habits. It's about finding meaning in discipline, in practice, and in the steady work of self-improvement. Emotional control. Another powerful teaching. Do not act based on partial feelings. We live in a world that constantly pulls us in 1,000 emotional directions. But Musashi teaches the value of acting with clarity, not emotion. We shouldn't make decisions based on temporary feelings or reactive impulses. Instead, we're encouraged to pause, reflect, and move with calm intention. Wisdom, after all, comes from a quiet mind, not a chaotic one. Letting go. One of Musashi's most direct principles says, "Do not hold on to possessions you no longer need." But this isn't just about material things. It's about letting go of anything that holds us back. Old habits, toxic relationships, rigid beliefs, or emotional clutter. Musashi invites us to release what no longer serves our growth. By clearing space, both physically and mentally, we make room to move forward, lighter and freer. Courage in the face of death. Perhaps one of his most striking lessons is this: do not fear death. Musashi doesn't call us to be reckless. Instead, he calls us to live boldly, to stop hiding from the inevitable and start embracing life with courage. By accepting death, we become more present, more awake. We stop wasting time and start living with purpose, knowing that each moment truly matters. These lessons may be centuries old, but their truth still hits home. Musashi's path is not about withdrawing from life. It's about walking through it with clarity, courage, and intention. And maybe, just maybe, solitude isn't emptiness. It's space. Space to grow, to understand, and to truly become who we are meant to be. Embracing death to truly live. Understanding that death is inevitable isn't a call for recklessness or despair. It's an invitation to live fully, without fear. Too often, the fear of dying stops us from really living. It holds us back from making bold choices or taking risks that could lead to something meaningful. The legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi reminds us, death is part of life. By accepting it, we can approach each day with courage and no regrets. Letting go of endless want. Musashi also teaches, be free from desire your whole life. In today's world, we're constantly pushed to want more. More money, more success, more recognition. But chasing after all of that never really brings peace. Musashi challenges us to seek inner calm, to be content with who we are and what we already have. When we stop constantly reaching for more, we find a different kind of freedom, the kind that lets us make choices based on who we really are, not what the world says we should want. Timeless lessons for modern life. These teachings from Musashi are more than old wisdom. They are a timeless guide to living with clarity and strength. Each one helps us become more independent, more focused, and more grounded. If we start applying them, we can begin to walk a simpler, more meaningful path, without the pressure to meet anyone else's expectations. Finding stillness in a noisy world. We live in a time of constant noise, always online, always connected, always distracted. In this kind of world, the idea of choosing solitude can seem strange, maybe even uncomfortable. But that's exactly why Musashi's teachings matter now, more than ever. Living by the way today starts with small, quiet acts of rebellion, like taking a moment of silence in a loud room, choosing to be alone, not because we were left out, but because we chose it. Maybe it's a walk without your phone, time spent reading, meditating, or just thinking. It's not about cutting ties with the world, but about finding space within ourselves, where our own voice isn't drowned out by everyone else's. Living with courage and integrity. Musashi shows us how to make choices without needing approval from others. That's a powerful antidote to the constant comparison and pressure we face on social media. He invites us to resist instant gratification, to say no to compulsive scrolling, fast rewards, and digital dopamine hits. Most of all, he reminds us that real self-awareness takes guts. It takes bravery to look within, to face our fears, and to live with integrity, even when nobody's watching. Instead of running from solitude, we can use it as a tool to see more clearly, live more honestly, and reconnect with what really matters. Strengthening your identity and refocusing on what truly matters. Living like Musashi today doesn't mean wielding a sword or hiding away in a cave. It means living with purpose. It means making intentional choices. And more than anything, it means walking through the world without losing yourself. Being alone is hard. It goes against our natural instincts and everything society tells us. We're used to filling every quiet moment with noise, every pause with distraction, every empty space with something that keeps us from really feeling. So when we choose solitude, discomfort shows up. And with it come the things we've been avoiding, our fears, doubts, insecurities. Musashi knew this. He didn't sugarcoat solitude. He faced it head on. To him, silence was a battlefield, not against others, but against himself. And that's exactly where solitude becomes powerful. Not because it's easy, but because it pushes us to grow. It asks us to stop running, to accept who we are, flaws and all. When it's a conscious choice, solitude isn't abandonment. It's a return, a reconnection with who we are when no one's watching. It's a deep dive into ourselves, where we stop being just spectators in our own lives and start becoming the main character. Musashi's path shows us that solitude isn't about escape. It's about getting back in touch with our essence, with stillness, with what really matters. In a world that's always pulling us outward, maybe the most courageous thing we can do is simply pause and listen. Listen to what's inside, to what we've been taught to ignore. And in that silence, we might realize we're not empty. We're full of possibility. True solitude isn't about being absent. It's about being present. Right there in that quiet and sometimes uncomfortable space is where we find clarity, strength, truth. Musashi doesn't invite us to copy his path. He challenges us to walk our own, with discipline, with detachment, with courage. And maybe when we learn to walk alone, we start walking more honestly alongside others too. In the end, solitude isn't the end of the road. It's the beginning of a new way of living, freer, lighter, more you. If Musashi's lessons resonated with you, and if you believe solitude might be a powerful tool for your own growth, why not take the first step? Take a moment for yourself. No distractions, just you. See what you might find. And if this message spoke to you, share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And follow for more reflections like this, designed to help us live with more clarity and intention. Walking alone might just be the first step to discovering how strong you really are. Sometimes it's in those quiet, lonely moments that we learn the most about ourselves. So if you're on your own right now, don't see it as a weakness. See it as a chance to grow, to build, and to become. If this message speaks to